Hello and welcome. We're making a quick little video here tonight to look at changing the input format of a script for QLab. Let's take a look at that script and see how it works. So right here we see we've got our script option P, make Projector Manager queues. When we run that, we get a little pop-up here. When we run that, we get a little pop-up here that gives us a little list that we can scroll through and select an option, and then we're given another pop-up asking us for space separated outputs. And then once we hit enter, it will create individual queues for each of those. And if we check the script, we can see it will power on each of those projectors individually. It's a pretty nice little script, but I don't like the way that it mixes the input and has you pick from a list and then use a numeric input. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to jump over to the code editor and change that so that both of the inputs are numeric. I think that'll be much better flow. To start with, we're going to get rid of this pick from list. We don't need that anymore. I'm going to begin with just commenting it out, make sure we get everything working before we actually delete anything. So we want to mimic this my enter some text. So let's scroll down real quick and see how that works. My enter the text takes 3 arguments: the prompt, default answer, and empty aloud. So the prompt is the question you're asking the user. We'll be asking about projectors. The default answer is what do you want to pre-populate the text field with. We'll go ahead and just put 1 in there. And then empty aloud is whether or not you're allowed to return no answer. And we're going to say false for that because we want to force the user to return something. So what it'll do is this will do what you saw earlier, where it pops up the question and then waits for the user to put an input. So let's see how we code that out. I'm going to add a blank line and set which action. Oh crap! It's doing it again. There we go. Set which action to enter some text. Cat's interested in something outside. Why is my editor doing this weird stuff? That was weird. I'm not sure why my editor was making the color all weird. So we're going to set it to my enter some text, and this is the tricky part because this is where we're going to relay all the information to the user. So first we ask what's the question, which is which action would you like to perform? Please enter the number from below. And then this is where we'll build our little menu for the user. One dash a mute. Actually, it's unmutes first. The order of these needs to match the order of our actions list because that's how we'll be assigning the variable later. To mute. 3 rotate input. I also like this method because you can put your own text into the list. The way I had it built before, I had to use the command in the list. That's just a little awkward. It's always better to use more human readable things when you can. 4 is power on, and then 5 is power off. We'll close our string, put a comma, and then we'll insert our second argument, which was what is the default answer. We'll use 1, And then our third argument is empty allowed. We'll say no, we want to force a response from the user. So what that's going to do is that's going to give us a text response in numeric values. So let's go ahead and see what that gives us. Display dialog, which action, and then I'm going to go ahead and comment the rest of this out. I'll run this and test it real quick. So now if we compile and run this and then switch back over to QLab, we see we've got our nice little list which has human readable list. We're going to say we want to AV mute, and we see we've got number 2. There we go, working right so far. So let's go back, we'll take that comment out, go back up to where we were. We don't need this display dialog anymore since things are working. I'll scroll up a little bit more. So now what we want to do is we want to take that numeric value and we want to use it to grab that command from our list. So we'll input here and we'll go set user choice to item which action, because remember which action is a number of actions list. And so now we're pretty much done. That was the bulk of the work. What we needed to do right now was switch from pick from list to which action. Now using this, we've coerced that numeric value into the command, and user's choice now is saved the command that will populate into the actual queue in QLab. So set projectors, this line, all of the stuff we want to leave the same because the second part of our script was working fine the way we had it. So we'll scroll down here to where we actually make the new scripts. We have this little repeat block. So this here, right here, this is a magic block written by Rich Walsh, of allthatyouhear.com. Rich Walsh has written a number of wonderful Applescripts. You should check out his template. But what it does is it takes that space-separated list of numbers and turns them into an actual list that Applescript can use to work with. So it will loop over that list and make a new script for each one of those things. We still got our old variable here, so we need to change that to user choice. And now we should be done. So let's check this out. Let's compile it. It compiled successfully, and we'll run it. Switch back over to QLab. We've got our nice new list. We're going to power things off this time. We're going to power off 1 and 3 and 5. Boom. There you go. Check the scripts, make sure they all work. And Bob is your uncle. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, down at the bottom, we can now get rid of that last guy and save it. The script is updated. Oh, we should probably copy all of this and we'll take it back over to QLab and make a new script, test it in here. We've already run the Applescript, so there's no reason this shouldn't work anymore, except every so often you'll run into an issue with some high-level computer stuff that honestly I don't understand. When I have an issue with moving something between the editor and QLab, I go to the groups and ask the smart guys. So now that we have this in here, we'll go ahead and assign this to a hotkey. I'm just going to pick option A because it's easy. We'll come out here and we'll run option A and we get our first prompt. Let's mute some things. Let's mute 2, 4, 6, and 8. And there we have 4 new cues. And they are all AV mutes. Fantastic. I think that'll wrap it up for today. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good evening, or morning, or afternoon, or whatever it is where you are.